Attention passionate Detroit, Lions fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Detroit Lions' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Detroit Lions fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Detroit Lions fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been following the NFL lately, especially the NFC North showdown, you already know that things are heating up in a big way. And I mean big, because right now, there's a lot of buzz about the Detroit Lions, a team that's been climbing the ranks with impressive performances, a team that's not just content to be good, but is actually aiming for the top. What's the latest? Well, it's about a potential move that could reshape the division and possibly change the entire landscape of the NFL this season. And it all centers around a name that's been making waves, Trey Hendrickson. But before we dive deep into what might happen, let's set the stage. The Lions, as we all know, had an incredible 2023 season. They finished with the #1 seed in the NFC, a remarkable achievement that marked their resurgence as a true contender. They made it all the way to the NFC Championship game, a feat that only a few franchises can boast about, especially considering their long history of ups and downs. The team's core, led by stars like Hendrickson, has shown they're not just talented but hungry for more. The defense, in particular, has been a major talking point, and that's where this new potential addition could come into play. Now, here's the big news that's been circulating. NFL insiders are reporting that the Cincinnati Bengals are listening to trade offers for Trey Hendrickson. Yes, the same Hendrickson who led the NFL with 17.5 sacks last season and has been one of the most consistent pass rushers over the past few years. The Bengals, according to reports from NFL Network's Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero, are in a bit of a contract impasse with Hendrickson, and so they're exploring options. That's a pretty significant development because Hendrickson isn't just any player, he's a perennial Pro Bowler, a true game changer on the defensive line. For a team like the Bengals, who are trying to rebuild and retool after some recent struggles, trading a player of Hendrickson's caliber would be a huge move. And for the Lions, this could be an opportunity knocking. But here's where it gets interesting. The reports also mention that teams like the Carolina Panthers, Cleveland Browns, and Indianapolis Colts have shown interest in Hendrickson. Yet, oddly enough, the Detroit Lions weren't mentioned directly in those reports. Still, many insiders and analysts have kept the Lions in the conversation, citing their need for a proven pass rusher, and more importantly, their desire to make a statement this season. Detroit, after all, is in win-now mode. They're not just building for the future, they're trying to cement their place at the top of the NFC. The team's recent moves, including addressing their offensive line early in the draft and adding depth at wide receiver, show they're strategic and aggressive. But one glaring area that's been somewhat overlooked is pass rush. You see, last season, the Lions relied heavily on Aiden Hutchinson to get after the quarterback, and he responded with a fantastic year, racking up a significant number of sacks. But with Za'Darius Smith gone, the team has been looking for that complementary pass rusher to double down on the pressure. Hendrickson, with his ability to generate sacks and create chaos in the backfield, could be the perfect fit. And with over $40 million in cap space still available in 2025, Detroit has the financial flexibility to make a move. They could go all in and bring in a proven talent that could immediately bolster their defense, especially their pass rush. Now let's talk about Hendrickson himself. Since entering the league in 2018, he's been remarkably consistent. Since 2020, he's averaged about 14 sacks per season, and he's reached at least 13.5 sacks in 4 of the past 5 years. That kind of production doesn't just happen by chance. Hendrickson is a relentless edge rusher, with the ability to win battles off the line of scrimmage and force quarterbacks into tough throws. Last season, he led the NFL with 17.5 sacks, and no other defender has been more productive in that span. The idea of adding a player like that to Detroit's defense is tantalizing. It would give the Lions a true game wrecker on the outside, someone who can consistently threaten the quarterback and open up opportunities for the rest of the defense. But of course, there are hurdles. The Bengals are reportedly seeking a significant return in trade, not just draft picks, but also other defensive players. That makes the trade more complicated, especially because a team like Detroit would need to weigh the cost carefully. They're in a position where they want to strengthen their roster, but giving up valuable assets or younger players could be a concern. Moreover, Hendrickson's contract situation is another factor. His last extension paid him around $21 million annually, and to get him in Detroit, they would probably need to offer him a new deal, possibly around $35 million per year if they want to be competitive with the market. That's a sizable investment, but one that could pay off if he helps propel Detroit to the Super Bowl. Interestingly, while the reports from insiders like Diana Rossini indicate that Cincinnati has been engaged in trade talks with multiple teams for weeks, they also highlight that Cincinnati's asking price remains high. They're looking for draft capital, yes, but also for defensive players. That's a big ask, and it makes the trade less appealing for many teams, including Detroit. But what's clear is that Detroit's front office is always watching, always ready to pounce if the right opportunity presents itself. They've shown they're willing to be aggressive, and bringing in Hendrickson could be exactly that move, an all-in statement that says, "We're here to win now." Now, imagine the impact Hendrickson could have on the Lions' defense. With his ability to generate pressure, he would complement Hutchinson perfectly, creating a formidable duo on the edges. Opposing quarterbacks would have a tough time, constantly under duress, which could lead to more turnovers and faster-paced games in Detroit's favor. Plus, the veteran leadership and experience Hendrickson brings could elevate the entire defensive unit, making them more disciplined and aggressive. Of course, the trade isn't guaranteed, and Cincinnati's high asking price might deter some teams. But Detroit, with its championship aspirations, might be willing to pay that price if it means getting a player of Hendrickson's caliber. It's a move that signals seriousness, a true we're-all-in moment for the Lions. And in the NFL, sometimes it's these bold moves that make the difference between a good team and a championship team. Now, we should also keep in mind that Hendrickson's situation is complex. The Bengals are known for being strategic and cautious about their assets, especially when it comes to players who have been so productive. The fact that they're listening to offers doesn't mean a trade is imminent, but it does mean that there's a potential opening if the right deal comes along. For Detroit fans, this is both exciting and nerve-wracking, because it's a clear indication that the Lions are looking to push even further to take that next step and truly contend for a Super Bowl. So what does this all mean for Detroit? Well, it means that the team's front office is doing their homework, exploring options, and potentially setting the stage for a blockbuster move. It's a reminder that in the NFL, nothing is set in stone, and the landscape can change rapidly. If Detroit manages to land Hendrickson, you can bet that the entire division will be on notice, because that kind of addition shifts the power balance in the NFC North and sends a message to everyone else that the Lions are serious contenders. And as fans, we should be excited. We've seen the team grow, improve, and challenge the best in the league, but adding a player like Hendrickson could be the final piece that pushes them over the edge. It's all about making bold decisions, about being willing to invest in the present to secure the future. The Lions have a window right now, and if they pull the trigger on a trade, it could be one of the most impactful moves in franchise history. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Detroit Lions news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Looking ahead, the question is, will Detroit really pull the trigger? Will they be the team to meet Cincinnati's high asking price? Or will they wait and see if the market cools down? That's something only time will tell. But one thing is for certain. The Lions are in a prime position to make a bold move if they choose to do so. And if they do, it could be the move that takes them from playoff contenders to legitimate Super Bowl favorites. The defense, already solid with Hutchinson, could become one of the league's most feared units with Hendrickson added to the mix. That's the kind of transformation that gets fans dreaming of Lombardi trophies. And let's not forget, Hendrickson's track record speaks for itself. Since 2020, he has been a consistent threat, averaging about 14 sacks per season, and in 5 of those years, he's recorded at least 5 sacks. That kind of consistency is rare, and it's exactly what a team like Detroit needs heading into a crucial season. The fact that he led the NFL last year with 17.5 sacks just proves how valuable he can be. Imagine him lining up opposite Hutchinson, creating double teams, and forcing quarterbacks into hurried throws. That kind of pressure is the cornerstone of a championship-caliber defense. Finally, for us fans, the excitement is real. We're watching a team that's ready to make big moves, a team that's not afraid to go all in if the opportunity arises. The potential addition of Hendrickson isn't just about boosting the defense. It's about sending a message to the entire league: Detroit is here to stay, and they mean business. So stay tuned, because the next few weeks could be pivotal. We could see a blockbuster trade, or maybe the Lions will hold their cards and wait for the perfect moment. Either way, it's an exciting time to be a Lions fan, because this team is on the rise, and the best is yet to come. And now, Detroit Lions fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Detroit Lions. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Detroit Lions news. In conclusion, the story of Trey Hendrickson's potential trade is far from over. It's a narrative that could define the 2025 NFL season, especially for the Detroit Lions. The team's willingness to explore such a high-caliber player shows their ambition and desire to compete at the highest level. Whether this move materializes or not, the fact that it's even being discussed speaks volumes about how far Detroit has come and how much they're aiming to achieve. As we watch this unfold, one thing is clear: Detroit Lions fans have every reason to be excited. The future looks bright, and the potential for blockbuster moves like acquiring Hendrickson could be just the beginning of a new chapter in Lions history. So buckle up, stay engaged, because this season promises to be one of the most thrilling rides yet, with the Lions aiming to roar louder than ever before.